Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are about to start our second round of Week 1 of the PSS 5. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined in the booth by Jared Doucette. How's it going, Jared?
It's going well. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing well. Got to try to get everything ready last minute, but I'm excited to start a new PSS 5. We've got an awesome lineup. The decks are really fun. I always enjoy doing this, so it's always fun to have the excitement from my end, and then also I feel like the community also gets really excited. So it's really fun.
Yeah, it's a good showcase. It's a lot of fun. I like it too. I just got taken to school by the Dr. Rick Shea. So
yeah, a lot of people have experienced that. He's pretty good at Magic. So there's no shame in losing.
He really thought about what the matchup was, and I had not thought about. He knew what his role was and what the cards that matter were. So that was impressive by him, and as I knew it would be.
Okay, so now for our second match, we have Álvaro Galindo. He was doing commentary before. Now he is playing. He's up against Michael Arnold. And so Michael has been in the PSS before. He was in the original PSS, as were you. Yes. So he's back. I think you were in another one between that as well. So Michael's actually brought some sweet decks. So I'm excited. And then definitely Álvaro has also brought some sweet ones. So we'll talk about that in just a bit, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to both these players. I feel like both of these players have kind of innovated in a way that they're not going completely off the wall, but they're definitely doing some things that are different, and I'm really excited to see that. So I'll bring up just their general decks, and we'll talk about what they have. So let me find that. So here we go. So again, if you are a fan of the PSS and if you've watched in the previous versions, we're doing things a little bit different this season in that we're not banning decks on a week to week, but what we're doing is saying once you play a deck, you can't play that deck until you've played all 3 decks. So this first week,
play that deck again.
Yep. So this first week, all 3 decks are available, so they just get their pick. Next week, they'll have 2 decks to pick from, and then the third week, it'll be determined based on the one that they haven't played. So Álvaro has Mono Blue Stifle Knot. So that's a deck that he's definitely played a lot, and he's tuned, and he's very familiar with. And then he has a Blue Red Tinker, or Goblin Welder, whatever you want to call it.
I love this deck.
Yep, that's a deck that's does a lot of fun things and can kind of attack from different angles. So that'll be interesting to see. And then probably one of the spiciest decks we have in the PS is the Mono Red Ponza list. So land destruction galore.
Yeah, this will take you back to 1999, the true Ponza, of Brian Caldwell fame.
Yep,
not Chris Benefell fame.
And so Mike Arnold has he dubbed the deck. He said his list was Angel McAngelface. That's the deck that we can never decide what to call it. I always name it Star Spangled Slaughter. I picked a name and I stuck with it. But the blue white red,
my man,
blue white.
Angel McAngelface. I support it.
And then his Dead Guy Ale list is not typical. He has the Tainted Pact, which he really likes. I think he's compared it just to playing a card like Impulse. He doesn't look at it as I'm going to find this particular card. It's just yeah, I've got enough variety in my deck. The lands are kind of split up, and so it's I don't get too greedy with it, and I just kind of use it as an impulse, which I do like that idea of it, and so I do like his take on that. And then his last deck, Dark Secret or Natural Order Rock, something that you've played a little bit too. But
yep,
definitely kind of one of the criticisms of the Rock is that it can't close out games quick enough. Well, Natural Order does a pretty good job of closing out games. So
love it.
All right, let's look at what they're actually bringing. So if we go down to their decks, first up, Álvaro is playing the Mono Red Ponza list. So
excellent. This
is the deck I'm probably the least familiar with, but
Ponza... I have a story.
Okay, go ahead.
The first actual Magic tournament I ever played in was probably in around 1998 or 9 when this deck kind of became a thing. I want to say after that U.S. Nationals, and I went to the store near me and I played a very similar list to whatever that Ponza deck was with cave-ins and tectonic breaks and everything, and I didn't own Wastelands. So I had 4 strip mines, and it was an extended tournament, and I didn't know what to do because I was I barely played before, and they actually let me play in the tournament with my strip mines acting as Wastelands.
Okay,
so that was nice of them.
That's funny because it's yeah, I'll just play these strip mines. They're just better,
they're good, right, yeah. Guys? And the guys are those aren't allowed. Yeah. And They actually let me play. I got crushed because like people were doing things on my end step, and I was like, "What are you doing? That's not a thing. You just play during your main phase and just smash things, right?" And I learned a lot about Magic that day. Let's put it that way.
Hey, I think it's pretty cool that they found a way to let you play. So
yeah, that was really nice of them. I appreciate that.
So look at this list. The land destruction stuff. We have 4 pillage, which gets rid of an artifact or a land. Dwarven Miner is one that repeatedly can take out non-basic lands.
Yep.
And then Avalanche Riders, and I think that's it. I mean, there's like the Rishan Import and the Wasteland and the Dust Bowl.
Yep.
I'm really excited to see Gitu Encampment in this deck. This is probably not the matchup where it shines because it probably gets outclassed, but like I really think this card like kind of has a home in some spots. It's more impressive than it looks. I mean, like it also stacks up really well with burn spells because it's first strike.
Yep.
I don't know if it'll come into play in this matchup, but that's one card I want to look out for. I really like the Gitu Encampment.
I think land destruction is going to be good against pretty much all 3 of Michael's decks because there's a lot of non-basic lands. There are a lot of they want to get to the mid and late game. So I think if he can get, the biggest thing with if he can get ahead with destroying his important sources, then I think that he can probably make it awkward for Michael. The problem with any of these kind of red decks that focus so much on land destruction is closing the game because they really need to be able to shut the door quickly because you're never going to be able to have more land destruction spells than your opponent has lands in their deck, especially if once it becomes basics and they're harder to kill for him. So
yeah,
just something to keep in mind is how well he can close the game.
Like looking at the list, it doesn't have a good way to close out the game really. No. I mean, like I could see like a card like maybe Black Vice, like that kind of like stacks up, but that's only if you're actually able to completely shut them out. But yeah, there's no like real build up. Like I guess you're just attacking with a Shard Phoenix and shooting with a Grivel Abomancer and then using your burn spells. So.
In my opinion, land destruction is not a control strategy; it's a tempo strategy. So you need to be putting pressure on. So the only way you're not going to be able to lock a person out usually. You need to be applying pressure at the same time so you can take advantage of the tempo of your land destruction.
All right, let's look what Michael's playing, and he will be playing the Dark Secret deck. So
yes,
I will note, and this is something that I confirmed with Michael.
My man,
typing up the deck list. I'm like, your deck has 62 cards in the main. Is that correct? And he goes, yes. The Jamie Wakefield theory of 62-26 is like the perfect adjustment. So that was a homage to that. And
oh boy.
So I thought that was a nice little touch, especially after he told me that. I would have looked at it and be like confused, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But I guess just on its face, this is a rock deck, but then it has a nice added bonus of being able to cast the card Natural Order to go get a card like Phantom Nishoba, Multani, or Verdant Force.
Yeah, I don't see a Symbiotic Worm, but that's the other one I would have considered.
You might get a Drained Hermit in some spots too.
Yeah, the Worm just pairs really well with like Cabal Therapy in the early game too.
Yep. What do you have to say? You've played this deck a few times and you've had some success with it.
Yeah, I really like it. I think Natural Order is like one of the cards that is just so it's still played in Legacy today. You know what I mean? And so it's just one of those cards that's so good, but hasn't really found a home. But I think this is a good natural home for it because you get to play, spells that clear it out, so that it doesn't get countered with like Duress and Cabal Therapy. You have a ton of green creatures and like the little birds and I think he's got Wall of Blossoms, right? God, I hope so. Yeah, and Wall of Roots, so you can probably get it out on turn 3. And sometimes putting down a Multani against a Swords deck, they're just like, okay, you're just gonna smash for like 6 to 8, every single turn. I can't really do much about it, and it's pretty good. I think Deed clears the way for like the little stuff. I mean, it just you get a nice little toolbox of green fatties, which is they're not nearly as good as they are in like it's not Crater of Behemoth, but they're still pretty damn good and they're fun.
Yep. I'm ready to jump on the match unless there's anything you want to talk about before we do. No,
I think that this is gonna be fun. I'm glad to see this.
All right, if you want to let our players know, we can begin.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay. So on our left, we have Álvaro. He's playing the mono red Panza. It looks like he's keeping 7, and then it looked like Mike put back 1 card before we start. So yeah, I mean, so you're thinking, you said you kind of like the idea of the mono red Panza against the mid range strategies that Mike has.
If he can put down some pressure, so we'll see what happens.
Well, This duress does not give him a lot of options, given it has to take a pillage. But we see the other cards. Wasteland, Port, Mountain, Mog Fanatic, Avalanche Riders. That I mean, like, depending on how Mike's hand lines up, like if he doesn't have like a wall of roots kind of thing, like if he's relying on non-basic lands, this hand seems problematic. We see a City of Brass. Does get a Wall of Blossoms. I don't think that's the wall that he would prefer. Are you playing Rishadan Port here, or are you wastelanding that City of Brass?
It's clear that that's his only green source, so maybe you just get rid of it now, right?
I think I might, like, if you're not doing anything, you might port here and then wasteland it later. I guess it depends on whether like Mike has to play another non-basic.
Yeah, you're denying that no matter what. I mean, and honestly, with port, you get the extra point of damage, right? So you need to chip away.
Well, Álvaro attacks with the Mog Fanatic, which I always like. Mike does block with the Wall of Blossoms, and then we do see the tap of the City of Brass during the upkeep.
Ooh, therapy. Bye-bye, Riders. Bye, Kai. I'm sorry, Darwin.
Darwin, yeah.
Darwin. I actually met him a couple of times. He was in Boston for a long time.
Okay. Looks like there's a mountain and an incinerate.
He doesn't have a third land though. But he doesn't have, but importantly, Mike does not have a third land. So I think this is going to spell some trouble now.
I don't think I would use that wasteland. I think I would just, like, if you're not doing anything, I think I would just continue porting. Because you could always do it later, and like the instant speed, I don't like him having upkeep green mana or black mana. I don't think is. I think I would have kept the port out and just kept porting. Oh well, Mike has a forest. He doesn't have a birds. I mean, Mog Fanatic does do a good job of answering that. So at least Álvaro, like his cards are lining up pretty well against a mana light draw from Mike.
Keep checking. Would you incinerate this? I don't know. Like, I don't think your incinerate's going to get much better.
No, I think because I'm going to use it on the birds.
No, I would have used the incinerate on the birds as well, just to keep the Fanatic in.
Oh, yeah. I think you just figured that like the Fanatic with the wall in play is not going to deal 3 points of damage. So,
well, what is incinerate killing that that probably the Fanatic's not many things.
I mean, it might just go like to the point where Álvaro needs to deal damage and just point it at 0.3 damage at Mike. I don't know.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, Álvaro has no pressure now. He's got control, but he's got no pressure.
Yeah, and there's not really that many cards like in his deck against a Wall of Blossoms that does that well in this situation. But the two Russian imports will definitely like keep this game going for a while. So yeah, this is kind of a situation where like
I think the longer.
Would you be unhappy if there was a City Brass in play and you're like, he has 1 mana and you're just dealing him a damage every turn? I don't know. It just makes like that end game of having those burn spells possible. And you are likely to have a point of where if you have to use your mana, you can just use the wasteland and then you're okay. Ooh, we do see a lightning bolt, a shard phoenix, and a mountain. Ooh, could we get to the point where we're shard phoenixing?
I don't like that Cabal therapy for the incinerate. I don't think that mattered as much. I think you probably just keep it and make him use it. It just block a few Mistress Factories.
Yeah, the one thing I like blocking Mistress Factory. Also, if you, I mean, I don't know if you're ever going to get to the point where you're going to be able to cast Natural Order, but that incinerate I don't think has a ton of value.
No, I don't think it did either.
All right, so Pillage takes out the Swamp. I guess since there's a Windswept Heath in play, you might as well go for the black mana and cut him off of a color.
Oh man, how many more ports? Jeez.
Well, hopefully it's not. Hopefully not more than one. That's all I could say.
the taxes are very steep at the Rishadan port. You know.
Well, we get to see a Shard Phoenix. Right. BK is happy. I mean, he was already happy that Ponza was being played, but Shard Phoenix, I think, is one of his favorite cards. So,
Yeah. I mean, here's your win condition. Okay, go get. I'm not sure why he has the windswept heath. Does he have a plains?
He does have a plains.
To be able to cast Neshoba?
Phantom Neshoba, yeah.
Yeah. When I played the deck, I didn't bother with that because I figured it was between 4 birds and two Cydia Brasses. Like, if I really needed to cast it, I probably could have.
It's some of the flexibility that the 62 cards and 26 land provide you. So
you got me. Okay.
All right, we got
Wall Roots. That's a good one.
Wall Roots is a good way to make mana against the mana denial plan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Álvaro's gonna sort. These are my ports. This is my factory. These are my mountains. How long does so does Álvaro have things like locked down enough? Do you think?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, he's attacking with the Mishra's factory as well.
But he's gonna block.
Yeah, I mean, I would bolt.
I don't know. I would have thought that that Wall of Roots I would have valued a little higher.
I mean, it might depend on like what the rest of is in Mike's hand. I mean, if he has,
of course,
if you have to assume you're getting ported, you're at best going to be able to cast a 3 casting cost card.
It's getting ported probably 2 or 3 times. Oh, he's going to let it live. Okay. I mean, you got to like Álvaro's position at this point.
Yes.
Just because he's so far ahead in lands. And Mike has missed many land drops.
Yep.
But he's actually got pressure here too. All right, so we have a 2-mana spell. Hopefully it's another Wall Roots. And it is. Like, this could turn around and Natural Order resolves.
So if you're getting Natural Order, you're putting Neshoba into play?
I would think so.
Okay.
That's a hard one to deal with. For a red deck, that's very hard to deal with.
Yeah, it would undo a lot of the stuff that Álvaro's worked so hard to... I mean, the Phoenix will get in there. Down to 11. So how much mana... Álvaro can tap 3 lands. He can get rid of the birds. So Mike will just have 2 green mana.
I mean, yeah. I still think it's... Oh, he's not... Is he blocking? So he did block. I think the blocks are bold. I would value these Wall of Roots highly. It's just 1 damage, I know, but at the same time, now the Bolt's going to get rid of it. Bolt just became land destruction.
I guess I don't know. I might have kept the Bolt there. Like, what? Oh, if it allows you to play an Avalanche Riders, then that makes more sense. Is it a post combat Avalanche Riders, the classic. Yep. I guess that makes more sense. I was thinking of just like, okay, leave the Wall of Roots in play, save the Bolt, just so it's like an extra turn off the clock. Because right now Mike's at 11. There'd be 4 more attacks from a Shard Phoenix, and then 1 burn spell would finish him off. But
he's hellbent. That's the other thing. The red deck has no way to like gain card advantage. There's
Shard
no
Phoenix.
To the hand.
Like, okay. I could come back from the graveyard.
Yeah, that exactly. Yes, that could happen.
I mean, and like, it's not card advantage per se, but like having cards like Mishra's Factory and G2 Encampment where they do 2 things, not the same, but yeah, it would be nice if, I mean, I don't know if there is a good option in the format for the red deck to have as a card advantage engine.
Not Scalding Tongs. Grafted Skull Cap. That was played sometimes with like a Ensnaring Bridge or something.
Rich has said Stone Rain is card advantage when you turn off all the cards in your opponent's hand.
True.
All right. Echo is not paid.
6-turn clock.
So I guess with the wall that makes sense. And we're back to just attacking with the Phoenix. Then we're adding with a Firebolt.
Oop.
Are you interested? Is this Firebolt going upstairs or is it going at the Wall of Roots?
No, definitely upstairs. Goes upstairs, tap down, and then the next turn, you probably do the same. You're going to attack for 2, put him to 5. Then you're going to tap down, and then the next turn you can attack for 2 more, and then do the. But yeah, he scoops it up.
All right. Well, I guess kind of like the downfall you talked about, like not a lot of pressure. Which it's not like Álvaro really closed the gate quickly, but.
No, but he had a good enough control there.
Yeah, he had a real good lock. Like I don't know. Maybe Mike had one turn where he had like 3 mana or something. But beyond that, like he just wasn't able to cast spells.
I'm just surprised that Mike blocked as often as he did with those wall of roots. I think I would have valued them pretty high, especially because you knew about the bolt. I would have just probably taken that 1 damage from the Fanatic. Then you don't have to worry about it. Or they have to 2 for 1. I think it was an 0-4 at that point. But then they have to bolt and Fanatic it, and maybe you leave your birds behind or something. I think the roots and the birds are going to be very important. I mean, birds has very low chance of living. Obviously, there's plenty of burn spells to kill it, but I think I would have taken the damage just to establish it because there was a chance that if he had not done that turn, he could have untapped with 4 mana, and then possibly could have natural ordered or something. So,
all right,
we'll see what happens.
I've got the sideboard up for the Dark Secret deck. There are 2 Tormod's Crypt, 2 Duress, 2 Vendetta, 2 Naturalize, 3 Engineered Plague, 1 Haunting Echoes, 2 Ravenous Baloth, and 1 Wood Ripper. I do like the Wood Ripper. Maybe not in this matchup, but in general, I just like that card.
Okay, you're going to have to read that one for the people.
Wood Ripper, 3 green for a 3/6. It has Fading 3. You can pay 1 and remove a Fading counter from Wood Ripper to destroy target artifact. So a creature that can destroy artifacts, multiple possibly.
That is a card of Magic the Gathering.
Yep.
Sure. Not bad.
I'm looking at the sideboard and I don't even know. Nothing is jumping out at me like that I want to bring in this matchup.
Duress, probably. Maybe Duress.
Yeah.
What's he take out? I mean, yeah, maybe Duress. That's the only one I can really think of.
There are 2 main deck naturalize. How many targets? There's the Mishra's Factory. Is that it? There's not a lot of targets for that, so maybe that's a card that goes out. So,
yeah, and he's not bringing. Is he bringing in Powder Keg? He could be bringing in Powder Keg, but he's not bringing Crypt.
Yeah, I'll bring up
Álvaro's
list. So
I think for both of these players, I don't think there's major sideboarding to happen.
Yeah, Álvaro has 4 Overload, 4 Pyroblast, 4 Powder Keg, and 3 Tormod's Crypt. I could see bringing in the Powder Kegs as a way, like on 2.
To kill the walls.
Yeah. Are any of the cards underperformers from Álvaro? I don't know if they're underperformers. I mean, Pyrokinesis might not be like Powder Keg might be better than Pyrokinesis. I don't know.
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, I would consider that one. That seems fair.
Yeah, but I don't think anything like drastically changes.
No.
And it'll be interesting to see, like, now Michael knows what he's up against. So that might influence, like, the draws that he keeps. Like, you're not going to want to keep a 2-lander, like, on the play or something that you're afraid of just getting all your lands blown up.
Yeah, I think that's where he lost the game. I mean, if he knew what he was playing against, I bet he doesn't keep that. But, keeping a 2-lander where you're... I mean, he had a 2-lander with a Wall of Blossoms, supposedly, right? So, I mean, you keep that hand most of the time, especially with the first turn to rest. So, I mean... I don't know. I keep that.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out.
I think he did mulligan once too as well. So
right. So I think that's a keepable hand. It's just unfortunate that the matchup was just terrible. All right, here we go. Green Source Pass. Yeah, get to him, Encampment. There we go.
Here we go.
Let's sit around the campfire and beat some face in.
All right, Mike plays just a swamp and passes, so there's no wall from him, either of blossoms or roots. But
not cracking his fetch lands. He wants to increase those odds of drawing extra lands. Okay, now he's doing it. This probably feels, if it's 3 mana, this is probably, is it going to be the one of Yavimaya Elder?
Pernicious Deed?
He's taking a pain. Yep, it's the Elder.
Oh, the Elder.
I think the Elder is really good in this deck also because it's actually one of the few green cards that actually wants to be sacrificed to natural order, so you get some extra benefit out of it.
I've been a fan of this card a lot. I play this a lot in just regular rock decks. It's just a nice card to like flashback a Cabal Therapy with and get some advantage. Yeah. It doesn't feel awful when you're like chaining Recurring Nightmares that you're just kind of thinning out your deck. I'm a big fan of this card, but I feel like a lot of other people have deemed it too slow or too not impactful enough. So it is a nice insurance policy against like what Álvaro is trying to do, that eventually this guy's going to die, right?
Right. No, this is one of the best cards that Mike has in this matchup. It's great. If you can get it down on turn 3, I mean, being on the play helps a lot. This is probably going to be a wall. Yep. Perfect. And the beautiful thing with the Elder is that he gets to control when it dies eventually. You know, there's no swords that's going to like take it out. He's getting those 2 lands somewhere.
Sure.
And he probably needs them soon, depending what Álvaro is. I mean, Álvaro's going to be playing like 27 something lands, right? He's playing a ton, but a lot of them do things. So they're not like flooding draws. In between the encampments, the factories, the wastelands, the dust bowls, like these all do things. I mean, that's definitely an intriguing, advantage to this deck, is how many cards do things, or lands do things.
We have a follow from Tribal Sun 9913. So thank you for the follow. Thank you everyone for being able to tune in. We've had a few subscriptions and follows. We appreciate the support. Hope you're enjoying the series. Looks like Álvaro does have the Pyrokinesis. He's going to exile a Incinerate. And this...
Why?
I guess we have to...
Okay.
This has to be in combination like of killing the Wall Roots, right? But that doesn't even seem like that good of an exchange.
No. You're giving up 2 cards, and he's getting 2 back with 1 thing on the board. Unless he's got, like, you think he would have kept the Incinerate to, now he's going to finish off the Wall of Roots?
A Firebolt.
Okay. I guess that's a half a card.
Yeah.
Comes back.
It's just like the Yavimaya Elder, like, replaces kind of like what the Wall of Roots was going to do at some point. I mean, like, it slows him down, but I guess
the Roots is
okay.
Roots isn't as vulnerable.
All right,
I don't know.
Here, I guess I didn't really appreciate, like, Álvaro has a Gitu encampments in Mishra's Factory. Like, he's trying to get aggressive, and I mean that was the criticism that we have. Like, the games are going to go too long, and he's trying to make the game end quicker. I take it back. I think that definitely makes sense. He's trying to get aggressive. He's going to attack just with the 1 Mishra's Factory so that the Perniciousty doesn't get too much value. I guess he didn't. He does have a 3rd mana, but and this next turn he might be attacking with the Gitu encampment. So
yeah, the factory is just more efficient. I don't think the first strike matters too much here. And here's a big 4/4.
Yeah, that might have been a spot where you just want to attack with a Gitu encampment, and you're not as sad to lose that one, I think.
Yeah. I agree. I think I would have rather, unless he's really worried about his red sources, but it seems like he has plenty.
I mean, maybe you get to the point where you're facing down a Ravenous Baloth and you've got 2 Gitu encampments that you can activate and just block. I don't know.
There you go. Okay. This seems like a lightning bolt to me.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Incinerate. But again, you could, okay, the first strike, but you get the 4 life. I don't know. Sure, gain 4 life.
Do we tap 2 mana? Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
no,
there you go. They
okay.
corrected it. Yeah, gain 4 life.
Yep, still get the life for that. So we're almost to the point, like, if there's another land from Álvaro, then he gets 2 Gitu encampments a turn to attack. But that's also assuming that Mike doesn't do anything. No resistance, no walls, no Deranged Hermit. He's getting close to the point of casting his big spells.
So going back to that block by Mike, you traded a 4/4 on board for a lightning bolt in their hand. Yeah, I don't know if that. Yeah, you're gaining that 4 life no matter what at some point. I don't know if it was really that beneficial there.
So it was pre-combat. So Álvaro had not played a land. So if he didn't play a land, you would be able to attack back. But if Álvaro did have a land, he'd be able to attack and block with the other Gitu encampment and then use it and kill it. So if he has Bolt, you lose it either way. But yeah, I could see saying like, okay, well, I'll trade 2 for 4 possibly. So, and if makes Álvaro spend his mana. We do have a Shard Phoenix has come, so it's up against the Pernicious Steed.
Oh boy.
Will we see a Shard Phoenix use its ability from the graveyard?
Doubt it.
No.
Well, I mean, if it dies this game, I think so. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Do we have a game?
Actually, I mean, I could see it happening. I don't think is he going to deed for 5 right now? Probably not. But he has nothing else to do, so I don't. Maybe he will.
Yeah,
but that doesn't seem like a great trade.
We did see a duress that takes out an incinerate when Álvaro only had 1 mana available.
You can only use the Shard Phoenix ability during the upkeep, right?
Yes, the return one, the sacrifice one, you can do whenever.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so Vendetta takes out the Shard Phoenix. Mike still takes 2, and then we have a little Mog Fanatic. But we're flashing back Firebolt, I think, at this point. So Álvaro doesn't have any cards in hand. It's difficult to call of race because of the Pernicious Steed.
Oh, here we go.
A Deranged Hermit going to add a lot of bodies to the board.
Yeah.
And even if this Echo doesn't get paid, I mean, actually, G2 Encampment's doing a pretty good job there of preventing these squirrels from attacking.
Yeah, this isn't that impressive, actually. Especially with the Shard Phoenix in the yard, right?
That's true, too.
Like he brings that back and plays it, and then the next turn, I mean, I don't think Mike's closing the game out right now, but hopefully... I think Mike, again, probably really wants to set up a natural order for Phantom Nishoba, so hopefully this will get that to happen.
All right, the Shard Phoenix is coming back.
There we go. Cross off the bingo board.
Yes.
You should have made a PSS bingo board that, like, if certain things happen with people's decks, like Shard Phoenix returns to hand or something like that. It could have been interesting to see. Okay. Paying the Echo. Here we go.
I guess you got nothing else to do with your mana, but the Mog Fanatic, I guess the Shard Phoenix too, like maybe I'd probably use the Mog Fanatic in the spot, so
yeah.
Block a squirrel and then shoot down the Hermit.
Block a squirrel, shoot down the Hermit.
I'd be attacking with that Deranged Hermit.
Might as well, right?
I mean, it doesn't matter, but yeah, I would.
Yeah. Sure, Phoenix, here it comes.
All right. Does a good job of dealing with squirrel tokens, I can say that much.
That's for sure.
You use this now, right? Yeah, to prevent a natural order.
Natural order, exactly.
I mean, I think it's very unlikely that Mike has it in his hand, because I think he would just let the Deranged Hermit die and cast natural order, but not really worth the risk. I mean, there's no real downside to waiting.
No. Agreed. Álvaro's not under that much pressure, but it would just make it so that option's shut down. Oh, here's another one.
A backup Hermit.
Oh. Okay. This might actually get in for 8 next turn if he chooses to keep the Echo. Because he's got to bring it back. He's got to pay to bring it back now. He's not. Oh, he's not bringing it back. What are you doing, Álvaro? I don't know. Judge, you saw the card. Gain information, but I know we're just having fun. He's thinking about it.
All right, so he does bring the Shard Phoenix back.
There's the reminder die.
He didn't actually draw a card then, right? Before
it was close.
Okay,
it was close.
I didn't see it. I just heard you making noises. So
okay. I will make some noises every once in a while, but yes.
All right,
I thought he flipped it, but I don't know.
we got Dwarven Miner in play. It's only got
Okay.
one target. It also... I'm just trying to think if this makes it awkward with a Shard Phoenix. Because he's only got 7 mana. So if he doesn't have another land, then he's not able to use Dwarven Miner and cast Shard Phoenix. So he would have to lose his... Okay. There's a bolt for the Hermit.
Okay.
And yep, so the Dwarven Miner takes out a squirrel. I sometimes ask whether Dwarven Blast Miner is better than Dwarven Miner.
I was just going to say that.
We got a situation where the 1/2 butt was pretty good.
Yeah, I Morph is cute, but it's just too expensive.
See, I started playing around Onslaught, and I really like this art. So.
Ooh, okay. Oh, that was fun. There you go, Cabal Therapy. Make you pay more mana for that.
I mean, I don't know when that Cabal Therapy is going to get any better, but...
No. I mean, you knew the card in hand, and yeah, there you go. It costs 3 more mana to do the thing.
And Álvaro has all the time because he's got this this Dwarven Miner doing the duty, the blocking duty.
It's gonna start blowing up. It's gonna blow up that Llanowar Waste soon.
I would imagine. I mean, I think you wait till combat.
Yeah, no, you wait. It's funny that this deed is doing nothing except for like it's a very, very slow stone rain for one of Álvaro's manlands. Basically, that's all it is. I don't think it's going to do much else other than that.
Yeah, but I will say it does change how Álvaro has to play. Like he can't ever attack with like 3 manlands at once. So right. Maybe that doesn't even like come into play, but like it does a little bit more than just like answering one threat.
Aggro Miner. We got an aggro Miner. This is how we're rocking, man. Oh. Yeah, I mean, he's going to lose it, sure. This is an interesting game. This is just... if I'm Mike, I think I'm waiting to try to stockpile 6 basic lands where I can go Wall of Roots or Blossom and then Natural Order. Do it. Do it. Just like I said. Right. Did I just call my shot?
Nope. Just a Ravenous Veilhav.
I swear I had that. That's still... I like his position now, though. That looks pretty intimidating, right?
Yeah, and this is a spot where you like...
And 2 cards in hand.
Well, we could get to the point where Shard Phoenix plus a Gitu encampment does a pretty good job. Kind of not really. I guess, yes, you would deal 2 damage and then... No, you can't... I guess you could deal 2 damage and then activate a Gitu encampment, but then you could Pernicious Deed. Yeah, it's actually kind of tricky, this interaction. Because if you did it first, have the first strike damage go on, then you're losing your Gitu encampment.
Yeah, afterwards.
Because of the Shard
It's not
Phoenix.
great.
But otherwise, if you do it the other way around, then you're not guaranteed to get the first strike, get the combat damage in because of the Pernicious Deed. So.
Okay. Like, where's the advantage bar right now? I feel like it's slightly towards Mike, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
those 3 cards must be terrible.
The Ravenous Veilhav is doing a lot of work of applying a lot of pressure. Wasteland will take care of a Llanowar Waste.
Fine.
Yeah, how is it a Phantom Nishoba? What?
Oh, I bet you probably 1 or 2 of his fatties are in his hand. I bet you're right.
He could have cast. Is Verdant Force 7 or 8?
It's 8.
Okay.
It's 8. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get to 8.
5 green.
Yeah.
He could have cast...
Multani is 6.
Multani. Oh, that was a port on that green mana. Okay. No, not Mistress Factory. Probably a couple encampments. Okay. This might turn on like a Vendetta or 2 that's in or like a Smother or something. I'm not sure what he has for removal.
Okay, so the Mistress Factory
just chumped?
Get in the way. Well, he's probably going to use the Phoenix here, right?
I guess. Sure. Okay.
Well, he's at the point where he's able to just recur it and play it in the same
And play it.
turn.
That's fine. This is classic Magic Gathering. We have to pay 8 mana for your card advantage engines.
Oh, there's no Rich import? Okay, I was gonna say, like, is that something that he wants? Yeah, I think he... Alright, you just... Most likely, you're just casting this 5-mana 2/2 flyer. Alright. How many times... We were doubting whether this was even going to be brought back once. This is like the 3rd or 4th time it's come back.
Yeah, that was silly of us. Especially me. I'll take full responsibility of that. I definitely undervalued it. Natural order. Do it, Michael. Do it. Natural order. Oh, no, I would not even play that. Oh, he's hard casting the Nishoba. There we go.
Oh,
see?
All right, we found the white source.
We found the white source? I mean, this is very hard for Álvaro to deal with.
Is there any clean answer? Well, I will say, if we ever deal some damage, like Shard Phoenix, like, First Strike is pretty good against, like, the, maybe.
Trample.
Well, I was going to say against the Nishoba, but maybe... Since they only have 1 toughness, I guess it doesn't work out as well as I think.
This is very hard for any red deck to deal with. This card is very difficult without Anarchy or Flaring Pain.
All right, Nishoba's got 7 counters.
Come on, rumbling in. There we go.
Mog Fanatical Sack. That'll shrink it a bit.
Yep.
Shard Phoenix. Yes, no. Yep.
6. Okay, down to 5.
Down to 5. Are you willing to put a Gitu encampment in the way? I think I would. Put 1. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this block would make it down to 4, and then you take 3 damage.
3 trample, but he still gains 4. Mike's just Recurring Nightmare in this list, right?
Yes, I think there's 1. I guess you should.
When I played this, sorry, there's 2 Recurring Nightmares.
Oh, so this deed was used. I think what you should do is let the Gitu encampment block. Okay. I think that's what they're backing up to do.
Yeah, and don't let it hit. Don't let it do first strike damage.
Yeah.
Because your deed's not getting any better than this.
And your creature has trample. So like if it didn't have trample, then you might argue okay then. Mm-hmm. But with it having trample, the damage is just gonna go through.
Yeah. Let's see.
So this should be 5 damage.
He did what you said. Yep, 5 damage, and it leaves an extra counter on. Yep. Yeah. Ah, got him.
That might have been a card that Mike was holding in his hand for a while. Like the City of Brass.
You think he was? I bet he was holding the Shoba more than he was saying holding the City of Brass. I was looking for that white source.
But like I could see you like holding that like this is vulnerable to a bunch of removal spells. If I needed to like, it doesn't do me any good. Like, it's only good for white mana. Like you don't need the other mana.
Right. Correct.
All right, Phoenix has come back, but I don't. Can he even live through this turn?
Yeah, because the first strike will again knock it down.
It'll go down to a 4.
No, he just firebolted it.
Oh, okay. Cabal Therapy for Shard Phoenix. Okay.
Pay 3 mana, dude. Pay 3 mana.
Like I think I said before, it's probably not going to get any better. So.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to again first. Oh wait.
This will be down to 3, and then you'll take 2 down to 1.
2 go to 1, yeah.
All right, desperate times call for desperate measures. Does Álvaro have an out? Like, I guess a burn spell could, because right now it's a 3, or no, it's a
Tusker. Oh, Nightmare. I forgot we're on main phase.
Wait,
That's gotta be it. Yeah, there
there.
it is. Yeah,
I was
he's stepping
saying,
it up.
I'm like, I would probably get a drain shirt, but I thought he had passed the turn. No.
Yeah.
Recurring Nightmare is enough, and Mike Arnold
Going to game 3.
equalizes. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a fun match, or fun game. So I guess I should bring up my poll. I forgot to do it at the beginning. But now that we're tied, I can ask everyone. So you guys have a couple of minutes saying who's going to win the match.
I think land destruction on the play probably helps, if he can get ahead. But again, I think now that Mike knows what he's playing against, and definitely Phantom Shoba is his best card. We got to see a natural order, right? We got to see it.
Yeah, and I mean it feels difficult to like for Álvaro to always keep Mike under 4 mana. Like I mean, because his deck does not close out the game very well. It's just so difficult that like, and it just seems like one natural order is really problematic. So,
you know, the more I think about like the 26 and 62, I'm like, man, I would love to have 2 more card spots in most decks. You know, it really solve a lot of problems. Like my replenish deck, if I had just 2 squeezed, I probably would have been in much better shape.
Sure,
you know, but I guess I should have done it. You know, 26 and 62, Jamie Wakefield, what an innovator.
Yeah.
You know, in all seriousness, I have played 61 cards like in old school decks sometimes because it's just like I forget to put the Chaos Orb in or something.
Sure.
But like in pre-modern, I can't ever do it.
Yeah,
it just it would first of all it would break the symmetry of the deck photo of this photo. You know, the 6 and 10. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Which I have like perfectly down. So, but yeah, I just this is madman stuff, but. What is the math? Like an extra, like it's less than 2% of like chances of drawing a card, but that does add up. I mean, I understand it, but is it a big deal? I don't know. Actually, we do know, but at the same time, I can't do it in pre-modern. All right, here we go. Well, Álvaro's off to a rough start. He's already down 19-1. Got to change that life total.
Oh yeah, that would be a strong handicap to start off with.
Remember those like Vanguard cards that like changed your hand size and everything?
Yep. Yeah, I think the most
life total.
I didn't do as much with like the actual original ones, but there was a while where like the original avatars for Magic Online had like some kind of basic abilities, and there was a brief time where like that was kind of a format. I think they did it for the Invitational one time, but like
we did an old school event where you got to play with those.
I heard the podcast. I think that Mana was doing it. It sounds fun, like doing it once kind of thing. Like I don't know how often I would want to do it, but especially if someone like puts in all the work, then like
yeah.
But you built your deck not knowing which Vanguard you were gonna get.
That was one event. I think so we did another one where you got to like, I think we had like 24 people, or I forget how we did it, but you got to, I think we did 8 people, and like you got to draft 3 of them, and you got to pick one of those to build around or something like that. Say like a 3-round draft. I think there's 20 something of those cards, but there's a couple of them that are silly. Like one of them is like a personal Howling Mine. The other one, like I think Mishra, this is the one I have. I forget where I have it. It like literally doubles damage that your creatures deal. You know, simple stuff like that.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. It's just a really wild, kind of thing they added. Some of them were snapped. Some of them were terrible. But
yeah, I would say like what does a bad one do?
Oh, it, like makes your starting hand size like down 4 cards, and like you get you get an extra mana a turn or something like that. Like that's it. So you only get 3 cards, but you know, you get an extra your lands tap for twice or something. So maybe you can break it, but that's a pretty bad card disadvantage. Oh, they also adjust your starting life total too. Okay. And they're all over the place.
All right, we're kicking things off. Álvaro has a Mountain and a Monk Fanatic, so he's got a protection against Birds of Paradise and a little bit of a clock. So we'll see if that. I mean, really, chip damage I feel like kind of comes into play in a lot of these matchups that Álvaro has. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, what do you think he named? I would have named Pillage.
Could be Dwarven Miner depending on your hand, but I guess that's staying in.
I think it is Lightning Bolt. Okay. That's what he named. You know what we need to get? We need to get everyone get one of those cards you guys use for the Misty Mountain to, like, show everyone what was named. So I'm sure that's gonna happen all the time with Meddling Mage and stuff.
Infinite tokens. I think it's
Infinite tokens.
Infinite
tokens.
The product that I have. I do believe that also Ultra Pro has their own variation on it as well. All right.
No free ads. So if you want to sponsor us, let us know.
Yeah.
Buggoat Ranger at twitch.tv.
Yep. Dwarven Miner coming down. He's preventing the non-basics from coming down for Mike. That Windswept Heath will go to the graveyard and he'll get a forest. So
yeah, he'll be happy with that. Wall. Okay. All right. So he knows there's no bolt. Well, I mean, one of these two cards could be bolt, I suppose.
All right.
But here you block, I think. Yeah. Oh, he takes both because he is worried about it. I guess that's bolt and incinerate. All right, Avalanche Rider's coming down next turn, so that's going to be... Oh, Wall of Roots is pretty nice. I bet you he has Natural Order. Come on, do it. Yep, boom. Slam it.
All right.
There it is. This is why you play this deck.
This is just Neshoba, right? I mean, you could get Verdant Force. Is there a chance Verdant Force is better than Neshoba?
Verdant Force is pretty sick.
Verdant Force is... but Verdant Force gets answered by Shard Phoenix, right?
But then you just get them back. You got to kill the Verdant Force, which is going to be very hard to do.
But you might get to the point where you're just like...
Yeah.
You're just blocking with the Shard Phoenix all the time.
Yeah, but at this stage, on turn 3, you're not recurring the Shard Phoenix very often. This is going to be very, very hard for him to deal with. Yeah, these tokens are going to take a while to win the game, especially against the 1/2 Dwarven Miner, best blocker there is, but I mean, it is a problem, but still, he's going to also be swinging with a 7/7 on top of it. This card's sweet. This card is I think every Timmy's dream from back in 1997. This card is just awesome.
It's like what Force of Nature should be, or kind of like the thing. Yeah. All right, we've got a Saproling token.
Oh, this makes me so happy. I'm just loving this.
The biggest downside to Verdant Force is you feel kind of bad when you forget one of the triggers.
Oh yeah, no, you got to be all over your triggers because it happens on both sides. You just get so many dudes.
All right, Avalanche Riders. This guy is like, hey, I will take out a land and I will happily block this 7/7.
Oh yeah, that's all he's there for. That's all he's there for.
I mean, so is there any what is the cleanest way for Álvaro? I mean, we talked about Pyrokinesis not being good. This is a spot where you probably need Pyrokinesis to take out a Verdant Force, right?
Yeah, I guess that would be. Oh, he took. Whoa! Why are you not blocking with Avalanche Riders? There's no way that can be right. Oh, Álvaro, that's a mistake. He's going to kick himself when he doesn't rewatch. There's no reason not to do that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there was any reason why you would want to do that, or
no, he's going to rewatch this and be like, "Oh, that was a problem." I mean, this game might still be over either way. I'm not saying he's winning it, but that was just an easy way to save 7 life. Yeah, now you rumble with everybody. Fine, block 1, shoot the other. Fine, get in for 8.
Yep,
block. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
get in for 2. Oh, here you go. Here comes another one.
Yeah, I mean, he might think it has trample, but even if he does, he's still saving a couple points of life.
Yeah. Yeah, you just kind of figure when something gets over a 6/6 or greater, should just have trample anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's just so big. It's just why doesn't it have trample? It's built-in breakthrough.
Is Recurring Nightmare really that big of a threat to board in the Torment's Crypt? I'm trying to think if it interacts with any of the other cards. I mean, it's Cabal Therapy, but I don't think it's worth it there. No. It might just be... I mean, what is the... Yeah, I don't know. in some ways, like it's a card like Recurring Nightmare is really difficult for Álvaro to beat, and the games that he does well usually go really long. So I can understand the theory of bringing it in as a way to counteract that, because otherwise you kind of just lose to a card like Recurring Nightmare. And I'm just trying to think: are there cards in his deck that were really underperformers that you might bring in? I don't know. One of those two things.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't think I bring it in just a card like Phyrexian Furnace is better against Recurring Nightmare.
Yeah,
because you can kind of get slow advantage over time, and it draws a card.
I will say it
because
of the nature of the deck of it just like not killing quickly. I think you have to be pretty conscious of those ways to lose, and you might just say, "Oh yeah, I hope they don't draw them." That's a way to do it. Or some people just like, "Okay, I'll bring in this card. I'll make my deck a little bit worse just to have an out against the situation." But the Verdant Force still making friends, still attacking, getting in there.
Verdant Force is just having a great time. And all his Sapperling friends. For my Sapperling tokens, when I played Verdant Force, I just took the old the Thalids from Fallen Empires.
All right, Álvaro shows a hand of Incinerate, Firebolt. That's not because are we talking about counting mana to get to the point of killing Verdant Force? We're not there, or maybe we are able to kill the Verdant Force, and but then the Sapperling tokens are just going to kill you. So it looks like the Dark Secret deck in the hands of Michael Arnold are able to. Oh,
you're not done yet.
No. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we are done. Okay.
I thought we were like. I'm like, there's no pyrokinesis. Okay, so, yeah. I mean, the natural order comes down and able to turbo out that Verdant Force. Pretty good.
Just like you drew it up.
Yeah. All right. Let's go down to the players and see what they have to say about the match.
But it was a good game.
Right. Yeah, good game. Good game. They have some question for us, I'm sure.
Hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
That match was fun. It was really interesting to see.
The way the lower matches, just because I wasn't sure what to take away.
I just brought in the Bayloss and took out the naturalizes. Yeah, I did the thing. Did the thing. What the deck is supposed to do. Yeah, game 3 I saw like I saw natural order and basic lands to cast it. And I'm like, keep.
Yes.
So, by the way, I told Álvaro. So game 1, I mulliganed my 7, which was 6 lands and Wall of Roots, and which if I had known like it was pawns, I'm just like, oh, snap keep.
Yeah.
I'm like, can't say anything else. This is terrible. So
yeah.
Yeah, but that was fun. I thought game 2 especially was very, very interactive, and game 1, even though it didn't look like I did very much, there were certainly like opportunities where things could have gone. He kept me off of the green creatures and enough mana, so if I ever had a natural order, he could just prevent it. But my hand was pretty bad. I didn't draw anything that game.
In game 2, did you have the City of Brass or the Phantom of Shoba in hand longer? Which one were you?
I had the City Brass in hand longer. So yeah, I wasn't putting that out into
Mike.
the Rishadan ports. There's really no reason to. I had plenty of other lands. Yeah. So yeah, that was all good. And top deck in the show and just slammed it.
Yeah.
So I hope that was fun for the viewers.
Yeah, that was
from my side, it was really scary. I mean, against a regular rock, I don't have big issues because I can control the board anyway. But when they play turn 2 Wall of Roots, then you expect the natural order will need Showa or something else. So yeah, not much to do.
Yeah, I think that kind of showcased like why you might want to consider natural order rock. When you're selecting your versions of rock, I think it's really good that the format has these kind of different flavors that you can do. But I do think like in battles, when you're expecting like the games like this, that natural order can really pull its weight.
Yeah, it was excellent. It was excellent in that third game, especially. And we're trying to decide if you wanted to go Verdant Force or Neshoba because of Neshoba closing the game before. But I think Verdant Force is just so hard to deal with, and you're always going to get value out of it, even if they have to 3-for-1 themselves in order to kill the Force.
I figured that people wanted to see Verdant Force. You know, that's what they came here for.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, Mike, if you mentioned why, like the construction of my deck, the 62 cards and 26 lands.
Yeah, I did talk about it, but you could reiterate it, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, so that was Jamie Wakefield's ideal ratio. He always preached and wrote about that. He was one of like the early dojo writers, and I'm sure a lot of people in the play group are familiar with his writings. He had published some books with his PTQ reports and everything like that. So this is kind of an homage to Jamie Wakefield.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I guess the biggest takeaway is kind of like there were spots where Álvaro, it seemed like you had the game like under control as much as you can, but there's not a really good way to close out the game quickly. You can't win or turn around, and that's kind of like the downfall of the deck. Is that something that you deal with a lot, or are there certain cards you think you might be able to add that would win in certain situations, or like that? Or
I mean, of all the mid-range decks, the Rock is the worst because they can win live. So maybe I can play like Sulfuric Vortex or something similar.
Okay.
From the sideboard. But against this specific version of Rock, again, basically, Michael outtempo me just casting the natural order and a big creature. I cannot do much against that. I usually I don't have that many problems against regular Rock, but against this specific one, it's more difficult to deal with. Of course, I know that Adam Rice is going to complain that I'm not playing Aftershock or something like that. But yeah.
Well, guys, I do have to run. I got to take care of some kids. I'll be back probably in chat for like round 4. But anyway, Thank you so much, Álvaro. It was a pleasure playing against you.
Good games.
Thanks.
Sounds
Mike,
good, and congratulations.
So,
all right.
Congrats.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So, Jared and I, let's wrap up this round. We're running a little bit behind for our match, so we're probably going to get our other players in for our third round. But thanks for jumping in the booth, Jared.
I'll do it again soon.
Yeah. So
Flint.
we are going to go to a quick break as we get our players set up for our third round, and it won't be long. We will be right back. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and stay tuned for our third round of the PSS 5.